Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2M Net podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling. You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max, episode 250. We made it to 250. Alright. And if you didn't hear us, we did have 249 on like a Wednesday or so, where we reviewed the Xbox Series X. Jens and I, of course I'm your host Sean Garmer, and of course Marc, who's always with me, he was on. We broke down all the Game Awards. We went ahead and voted. So if you want to hear our picks for the Game Awards, a whole, 2 weeks before?
Yeah.
You can listen to that. It's pretty lengthy. But hey, you get a lot of information about all the big games. So if you're any games you were on the fence about or weren't too sure about, at least you get our opinions on them. So there's that. And yeah, so definitely want to go check that out. There was some news we talked about, but not a whole lot. This will be much more of the traditional news show. There's plenty for us to talk about here. And before we get started, if you did listen to that show and you liked us and you subscribed, appreciate it. We at least do once a week. There's times where we do 2 a week, depending on if there's a lot to talk about. But most of the time it's just once a week. It's usually Friday night going into Saturday morning. Gets posted Saturday morning-ish afternoon, depending on my work schedule. And yeah, so hopefully you can check us out there. We're also on Twitter at DevonTMSean, at HumanityPlague. Jens is at Aperture Silence. Jens also does the editing for the show, so always got to give Jens a thank you. And you can check Jens and Randy out on another show of ours, Chapter Select. That's also part of the W2M Network. You can just go subscribe to Chapter Select. They review bad video game movies for you. So if you like Wing Commander, that's what they talked about this week, the Wing Commander movie. So, hey, it has Freddie Prinze Jr. in it. And, I can't think of his name, Marc.
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard, who doesn't make bad movies.
Yep.
So, go check him out.
I saw that movie in the theaters when it came out in like 98.
Really? You did?
I saw it with a friend. He was a big fan of the franchise at the time. And I had no idea. So I was just like, why are these ships firing missiles at each other? Well,
it's the creator of the franchise, right? Made the movies, who?
Yeah.
Okay,
he's also the one scamming people for Star Citizen money.
Well, can't win them all, I guess.
Yeah.
So, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. To the detriment of everything else in my life, apparently, because I was supposed to do some WoW shit tonight, and I forgot to do it. And
Did you ask for the? I forgot to ask for you.
Yeah, I got it. I got the Shadowlands content, the code, but it's not active yet. It starts tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Did you find the person to ask, or just asked Activision, dude?
No, I asked Adam, and he found it.
Oh, Adam, okay.
He got it back to me in 2 hours, too. I was shocked.
Nice.
So, yeah, Valhalla's that I played a little, and I mean only like a half hour of 13 Sentinels, I guess Rim, or whatever the hell the game is called.
Aegis Rim.
I can see why Jens likes it, because it's a Japanese soap opera. I can see why I might not like it, but...
Because of that?
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, I'll give it a good shot. The battle, I mean, I've only had 2 battles, but it reminds me of that. Oh, what's that game? That Met game I reviewed? By the FTL developers.
Oh, whatchamacallit? The strategy game?
Yeah.
Oh my god, why can't I think of it? Oh god, it's gonna come to me when I'm not even thinking about
yeah, I forget the name of it. Damn. But it reminds me of that, like the entire battle system is like that, kind of.
Into the Breach?
Yeah. And it even kind of looks like that, too. Which is,
but
like,
it doesn't
funny.
have, like, that deep a strategy, does it?
Not yet. I mean, like I said, I just got to the point where they're like, this is how you move units. And I'm like, all right,
Oh.
Sure.
That's how you know it's early.
Yeah. But yeah, Valhalla, what do you want to know?
Well, I mean, does it feel any different than Odyssey or Origins, or
I mean,
is it?
I don't remember a ton of about Origins. I've tried to block out of my memory. It feels it's similar to Odyssey, but it has a lot of like mixed in with like Brotherhood or the better Assassin's Creed games. So one of the funnier things is the hidden blade in this game is back, and you can use it to like backstab people. But if they're way higher level than you, you can't automatically kill them. You have to do this like really weird mini game where you have to like backstab them twice, and it's like timing focused. But there's an option in the game that's just like automatic backstab or automatic assassination, where it's like if you sneak behind someone, you will automatically kill them, like you'll just kill them automatically, like the old Assassin's Creed games. And it's like, and I selected it on, and they're like, oh, we don't want you to play this way. But it's like, well, I don't care how you want me to play it. Like, this is how I always play Assassin's Creed games. Like, that's why I didn't like the last two, because he took this out. So now I'm going around stealth killing everyone, and that's fun. I mean, I'm stealth I'm only like, they have like a power level in this game, and I'm like, I think like 79, maybe 80, and I'm like one-shotting guys who are like ranked like 300. I'm like, all right, this is what I like now. I think I'm 25 hours in. I just unlocked, I think, every viewpoint, like, the jumping off the big thing, the big tower. It's a big landmass. It's not as big as Odyssey, thank Christ, but it's large. And there are a ton of shit on the map. Like,
your favorite thing.
It's funny because once you unlock like the viewpoint synchronization, like it appears in the game world, which is like really weird because there's like a radar at the top, and there are so many different icons that appear in the game world. It's like laughable. Like I took one screenshot when I was on top of this tower, and it's like 30 different like light sources coming out of the ground to show me like what I should do next, or like what I should pick up. And I'm like, holy Christ! Like
this is overwhelming.
Yeah. Combat's pretty much the same. You have like the light attack, heavy attack. L1, you can use your like second arm, or I use it as a shield, which is useful.
But it feels weightier, right? Than the.
Yeah, like your guy isn't quite Eivor. I picked the guy Eivor. I think I mentioned last time because like that's what the game started you off with. Apparently, Eivor is a female name, and it's like if you want to have him play as a female, that's fine. Have that be the default. Like. I just picked default guy, if it was supposed to be default woman, that would have been fine too. I don't care, but, yeah, your guy isn't quite as nimble as some of the past games. Like, I get stuck on climbing, the guy can climb on anything, which is kind of fun, or mostly anything. He still gets hung up on like, fences with needle points at the top, but it's like, that's not hard to get around. Like, I could do that as a real person if I really tried. Like, but, like, the character gets stuck on this, like, navigating trees, and there's a real weight to him, or weightier than, like, some of the past people have been.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's at least they made that, because usually you don't, Vikings are very brute force.
Yeah. So, there's a few fun Viking things in this game I think you'll appreciate. One is the drinking minigame. You have to like pound 3 or 4 Viking horns filled with mead back really quickly, and you're like facing off against someone else as they're drinking as well.
Do you get anything for winning?
I think you get like money because you have to bet on it. There's another one where you play like this weird dice game where you have to like roll dice in order to like get favors from the gods, which is like your special powers. And I just break that constantly now because all I do is get the special god powers and like destroy everything. There's something called, I know you were a fan of that Viking TV show. Was there anything called flighting?
Not that I remember, but.
So in this game, there's something called flighting, which is basically you're doing a rap insult battle against another person.
Oh no, they don't. Yeah, that's.
Where like, the person will say something to you that is insulting, and you have to respond back but it has to rhyme with the person said, and it has to be insulting to them generally. And you would whoever wins gets money, and if you win, you get charisma, which is part of some ill-defined system where if you have high charisma, you can unlock different dialogue choices, but it has only come up once.
That just seems weird.
Yeah, it's like
the Vikings about rapping.
It was like rapping poetry.
Okay.
What is going on? Like, it was weird. I mean, it's kind of fun and simple.
Yeah.
But it's just so bizarre. It's like, alright, I guess. I've upgraded my little home. You have a homestead in this game, or like a base, which I've upgraded to like level 3 out of 6.
Okay. You're not editing your base?
Yeah, you basically just build buildings, like, if you want a cartographer hut, or a assassin's bin, or a, building for them, or stuff like that. You have to go on raids quite a bit, and you get, materials to build up your own base for it, doing that. That's a little ill-defined. There's some stuff in this game that's not really well explained at all. Like, I built a fishing hut, and I was like, oh, you can go fishing, but it didn't tell me how to do that. So, this one guy was like, I'll trade you, if you give me fish, I'll give you runes. And it's like, I don't know how to fish. The game didn't display that for me. So, we will see what happens with you. But the game itself is pretty fun, or I'm enjoying it more than, Odyssey, because one of the problems I had with Odyssey was you were a mercenary, but you could play the two sides off one another, which felt really dumb. This game, thankfully, does not have that. There's no, territory control. So that's probably good. There's also not a ton of gear in the game, compared to, Odyssey or Origin. And it's funny because you get a weapon and there's, 3 upgrade trees to doing. First you need iron ingots, then I think, steel or something, and then, tungsten. But I've bypassed, the second one by quite a bit. So I've upgraded most of my stuff for the first one just fine. I have almost none of the second one, but I have a ton of the third. And you can't use the third to upgrade, level 2. So it's like, god damn it. But I'm enjoying it. I mean, this game, as opposed to Legion, this game will keep me busy for damn near weeks. I'm scared. I have 3 other games, if not more, to review. And
yeah, along with this one. Yeah, so it's and then Cyberpunk's not too far away.
Yeah. Oh, I hit Valhalla, or I got to Asgard. I drank some weird potion, and then it's alright, now I'm in Asgard. I'm playing the same dude, but he's called something else. They don't explain that. And it's what is going on? It was really weird. But
they call him something else in Asgard?
Yeah, it's called Fire or Fiverr or something weird. I think it starts with an F. I don't know what the hell. But I'm liking the game so far, quite a bit.
How's the ship?
Oh, it's barely there. It's really funny. You can only use, it's really twitchy also. You really only use it to go up rivers and to direct, to aim to where you, at the village you want to raid. There's no naval combat at all. And it's
oh, really? Okay.
You can, cause all you do is, all your ship has are, you and,
well, yeah, because there's no guns or whatever to shoot the other ship with, right? It's
14 Vikings on the ship, and that's about it. Yeah, there's no cannons or anything on this thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's funny because you can, customize your ship, but it's who cares? It's such a non-factor in this game specifically.
Yeah, you're not seeing it you're not seeing it enough to really warrant doing that unless you're going a bunch of raids. Is there a lot of raids, or you just...
No, there can be, but it's still not a factor. You just run up on it, or use your ship to run up on the village, and that's it. You get out of it, and then you start actually screwing around.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you if it just that gets samey after a while, or if they do feel different, or...
Oh no, it gets samey. The fun part is where the bugs come in. This game isn't exactly bug free.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
I've had instances. The game for a PS5 game, this game does not run that well at all. It is
yeah, Series X has the same problem.
I'm not talking in if it was in a big battle, I could kind of forgive it. but I'm talking like just running around a building. Like the game is like chugging constantly in some spots, and it's like, what's happening here? Like this is weird. Like,
yeah, I mean they had that same problem with like Watch Dogs didn't get patched until later.
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean so like that's Ubisoft just has this problem where they were trying to rush this out to make sure it came out at the launch of these systems, I think, and didn't optimize it very well. So,
yeah, maybe. What else? Oh, well, it's funny because there are basically co-op doors and co-op chests in the game, where you have to like run up on the chest and press a button, and then have like another one of your Vikings come out and like push it open with you, or like
can you direct them, or you have to have another person playing?
No, it's not another person. It's just an AI NPC, but they have to actually like run up on the door or the chest, especially. Well, it's more the chest, and like help you push it open. And I've had instances where I press a button and no one comes, or like 10 of my guys will run into the building and just walk around and not do anything. And my guy is sitting there pushing this chest, going like, "I need help, come help me," and nothing happens. or like the guy, I will see NPCs like walking next to the chest, not actually activate, and I'll get out of the animation, hit it again, and the same thing will happen. And it's like, this is cool.
That doesn't work really well.
I had an instance where I don't know if I mentioned the last podcast or not, or if it was off air, but I was in a cutscene where this Viking woman was like trying to give someone like CPR, and like the animation glitched out, the character model did, because like she was doing it, but there was just some NPC, like some other guy standing like right where she was, so she was clipping through him constantly, and like one scene it looked like she was giving him oral, and it's like,
oh
what?
God.
Because like she was on the ground, like kind of crouched over, like kind of like where his lower region was. And, like,
yeah, her
head is like going up and down, like trying to breathe air. And I was like, all right, this is very strange. But other than that, I think it's really good. I mean, it's still not my favorite Assassin's Creed game because it's still too long, way too goddamn long. But it's fun.
That's just Ubisoft games in general at this point.
Yeah, but it's funny because Legion wasn't like that. I mean, they had the opposite problem where it didn't have enough content in it. So there's no happy medium for them. Apparently, it's either not enough or way too much.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was going to 100% this game, it would take me weeks, if not months.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. Is it's not really. I mean, if you want to do that, you can, but I don't think it's really meant for you to try to do that all.
I mean, in some of the bigger towns, there's like literally like 20 to 30 items to pick up, like for you to like ferret out where all the materials are, the treasure, or all this stuff. And it's like, I mean, it's useful kind of, but it's just like too much. It's like, oh man, I don't need all this crap. But yeah, that's the big game I'm playing. Yeah, I played a little while, but the Shadowlands is tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get to finally, delve into that. I'm sure you'll be excited to get into some more WoW.
Yeah, can't wait.
You say that, but then you sit there and get excited and like it for the time that you're playing it.
I get to like it until I realize like the things I will never get. So then I get really depressed.
That's fair. Well,
like I've been hunting these like 4 stupid monsters from at least 3 expansions ago. They each drop like 1 mount that I want, and it's like, no. I mean, I can basically like one-shot them, but they only get 1 chance per week to get to kill them and get loot. So that sucks. Anyway, you were saying?
Oh, I was saying before we get too far off the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they have broken 2 sales records. Supposedly, according to Ubisoft, they've sold more units in its first week than any other entry in the series, which has sold over 55 million units since debuting in 2007. Of course, this isn't the first AC to debut with a console. Of course, Unity was probably one of the least well-received games of the entire franchise when the Xbox One came out.
Wasn't that Black Flag?
No, Unity was packaged with like Xbox One.
Okay.
Because it came free on the system.
No, wasn't Unity the one that, oh, maybe you're right. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of these goddamn games.
So like my Xbox One that I bought, I didn't buy it at launch. I bought it like I think a year later because I wanted it when Master Chief Collection came out. And what came with it was Black Flag, Unity, which was the new game.
Yeah.
And, and then I bought Master Chief Collection separate. And I don't remember if it also came with...
Yeah, Black Flag was the PS4 and Xbox One launch game. That was it.
Yeah. Oh, PS4. Okay, well, Black Flag, was great. But of course, this is coming out with both consoles. And, Microsoft put a bunch of money behind, getting to remote Valhalla and everything. So this is the one big game that, aside from Yakuza, that Microsoft really could bank on. Because, Cyberpunk got delayed, which helps Valhalla a lot. And also,
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to play an RTS or a RPG, Valhalla's about it for the Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And, well, that's new anyway. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's cool. That's cool that Valhalla sold over this much. I mean, also, it's the top-selling PC launch.
Yep.
So, that's cool. I mean, the game's still gonna be glitchy, probably on PC as well, but still something.
Yeah.
Just wanted to tie that in so we were talking about, Valhalla, by the way.
It's not surprising it's selling well because it's a very different, setting, has decent reviews, and it seems more of a return to the old Assassin's Creed games than the past two have been.
So why do you say that?
Like the Hidden Blade, the fact that there is the base for you to upgrade, that's about it.
I would say it's still, I've seen a lot of people feel like, well, this still feels like Odyssey and Origins.
Oh yeah, the combat is directly from that, but now at least you have there's more of the option to actually go stealth in this game at least. It's not that, like the enemies can kind of see you too far away, I think, but there is still there. You still can do it if you're really careful.
Yeah.
But I really think there's also some, they aren't like that deep, but there are some like more tomb, like caves or, stuff like that for you to explore and, do cool stuff in, or like get stuff in. Like, I guess I stumbled upon one. I guess now I have I have one of the pieces to get Excalibur. So, I mean, I can do that, I think now. So I might try that.
Well, that's cool. Excalibur.
Yeah. Like, there's, like, Excalibur, and I think Molineer's in this also somewhere. There's a whole bunch of different armor sets and stuff like that. But it's more about, like, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I really did miss the Hidden Blade. So it's nice having that option again. And then actually having, like, it's nice having a home base again. Like, a reason to care, because, like, that's
right.
The one thing that was really missing from, like, the last two games. It's like, well, once you get out of the main areas, the starting areas, it's, why would you ever go back? And at least this one you have, like, you can build up your friends' little huts and do side quests and stuff like that. Like, it feels like Assassin's Creed 3 almost, only with better combat and at least a better hero.
At least it gives you a reason.
Yeah.
So, like, since we're on the Ubisoft thing, I don't know if there was any more, game Skull and Bones lost the studio head, which, yeah.
I don't think that game's ever coming out.
It doesn't help this game at all. Of course, this is that naval combat game that Ubisoft announced, like...
Big online multiplayer, Assassin's Creed 4 thing. Or, inspired by...
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the people that got, accused of sexual harassment at Ubisoft, and he's no longer managing director of Ubisoft Singapore, so... that was good. That's good that he got taken out. You shouldn't be having those kind of people at your company. I mean, I guess it sucks that people had to go through that so long of a time period. And, Yeah, I mean, then you hear about stuff of like Assassin's Creed. They had to fight really hard to have female characters because people just didn't think that they would sell if you just made the game with female characters. Like, I don't remember how they said that they finally got to push enough for Odyssey to have Cassandra by herself and not have to do it like with Ivor.
Right.
So, which, I mean, that's weird. You'd think that they would just, after the success of Odyssey, they would just do it that way from now on.
I mean, I don't get the whole, I still don't really get the whole concept of choice. Like, it's not like, if you want to have a female character in the game, fine. I don't really care who I'm playing as personally. So, doesn't matter. At this point, why not just have like a create a character?
Well, but it matters. Like, but I think that's the point, though. They could do it the way that you do it in Odyssey.
I mean,
just
people weren't like bitching and moaning when Tomb Raider was coming out. It's not like, we demand.
That was a different time with Tomb Raider, though.
We demand a male version of. We want an Indiana Jones.
You did. You had Nathan Drake.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about when Tomb Raider like first came out, and they did make a few Indiana Jones games, but they were all terrible.
Because it was really rare to see female lead characters.
Yeah, and like there can be female lead or female led games. Like I go for it. Like look at like Control. Like that's really good. I mean, it's a matter. The game quality. It should be a good game regardless of who you're playing or what gender your character is.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, if the game sucks, regardless of whether it's a female or male character, that should be pointed out.
Yeah.
Luckily for recent times, most of the big female-led ones are all pretty good to great.
Right.
So, that's one thing that they've had, like, going forward is, you weren't the biggest fan of Odyssey, but Cassandra was what made it better than playing as, was it Alexios, or?
Yeah, something like that.
So, I mean, and then you've got Horizon Zero Dawn, you have, the Tomb Raider games, you have...
Yeah, the more recent ones. That Uncharted game, the most recent one.
Yeah, most recent, Lost Legacy, Hellblade. So, even going to indie games like Celeste.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've all been doing fairly well. So, it helps push that forward of, okay, we can have female-led games and they can be great and people can enjoy them, so...
I think my big problem with this concept is really, if you want to have a female character, that's great, but only two conditions. One, it doesn't matter at all, or two, it actually matters to the story. But what Ubisoft is trying to do is they're trying to have a third option where it's like, well, it doesn't matter to the story, but we still want to have female empowerment. And it's like, well, then how does that work? Because you're not empowering the character, you're not empowering the gender. It's literally just a model swap at this point.
Well, it's almost like I hate to bring this in, but it's almost like that non-binary thing in Call of Duty. It's like, we did it to just say it's there.
Yeah, it's part of like some weird social crusade, and it's like, well, this doesn't really work because you're only half-heartedly committing to this, and it's in a pretty insulting way, if you really think about it. So,
yeah, I mean, there will be some obviously that'll say, well, it's one step towards something.
Well, I mean, the same thing with Call of Duty, and I know that there's a few, but let's be honest, there's not that many. Like, there weren't a ton of non-binary Vietnam era soldiers, and there's some, but there's not a ton of female warriors either.
Let's stop acting like Call of Duty cares that much about history anymore. They don't.
Well, this game directly does because it's taking place like, the early 80s, so.
Right, but they play around with history sometimes as well. They don't just,
Yeah, but that's more in service of just the actual story, not like who you're playing as. Because you're always just some dude in most of those Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
And the same thing with this one. Hey, there were female Vikings, but there weren't a ton of them. Like, if you want to have a female Viking game, cool, go for it. But having this weird mismatch of like, it's two different timelines or two different DNA streams. It's like, no, just make it be one or the other and, write it from there.
Well, That is how Mark feels about that. So
Yeah.
you can let him know how you feel about that. Add him on Twitter there.
Send me the angry tweets and I'll just ignore them and move on with my life.
So, yeah, I mean, going back to stuff we were playing, I don't know, anything else you...
Nah, I still gotta finish after that Astros thing, but that's about it.
Well, both you and Jens have now reviewed Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Yep.
It's the best game ever. We gotta have 2 reviews of it. They're both on the site. They're both in the description of the show that you can check out. Jens was a little bit lengthier and
more in depth about the history.
Yeah, more about the history and the story. Mark just gave you that straight up review. Both are very good, so you should go read both if you can. And I'm working on my Bright Emery review right now, and still gotta do the Falconeer one. We'll see how quickly I can get those done. I did get to play some of Hades. I picked it up. I forgot that I had like $11 worth of like points.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll just put this towards Hades, and so I only paid like I think like $12 or.
Do you get the gold coins also, or is that what you're talking about?
No. Okay, so I don't remember. Like I forgot that I had like $11 in my wallet.
Yeah.
And then I had, I think, like another 100 in gold coins for like
right.
that you get for buying stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's where most of mine is actually. Like, I think I have like $9 in that crap.
Hey, that's not bad, man. You can get you some nice chunk change off on that there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think I've done at least like 5 runs. I got to the point where I have the bow and arrow now.
Yeah.
And
I found that really good weapon.
Yeah, my thing is like every time they give you a power up, they all sound good. So I'm trying to figure out like which ones do I really go for, and all of that, because I'm not super like roguelike experienced, but I love the aesthetic of the world. Like it all looks cool.
Yep.
I love that Hades is like this brooding guy. It looks like I don't remember his name, but he looks like the guy that when Goku goes to the underworld or whatever.
Oh,
and he's
King
sitting
Yama.
at the
not Yama. What's his name? The Ox King. No, not him.
Yeah.
Sorry. Because Ox King was
him. Ox King was Chi-Chi's dad.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name either, but yeah, it reminds me of that because he's sitting at the same.
It's not King Yama. It's King Yema. That's it.
Yema. Okay. It's just it's funny, and then I hate it because I'll get far and then I'll die at the stupidest thing, and I'm like, oh, I gotta start again. But it does teach you like to just you learn from everyone every time you die, and then just you get power ups, and I like that, and I like getting to redo stuff in your room too. So I haven't gotten like to a boss or anything yet, but I'm making progress slowly.
I think I like the bow quite a bit, so if I at least meet the first boss, because she's fun to fight. Did you wind up using the bow a lot, or did you wind up switching to another weapon? I actually found the bow. I think the bow is my favorite weapon, or the one I use most. The second one was the trident, or the lance. I don't know if you've gotten that yet, though. I doubt it. I've only gotten one key, and I can use it to unlock the bow. Okay, yeah. I think the trident has like 3 or 4 keys or something, but the bow is really good because you can just stay back far and just, start nailing that button as much as you can. I used the triple attack thing. Oh, I used the other, every upgrade, all the gods provide favors, but then there's like an actual just upgrade, which is like upgrade power up, which is useful. There's a really good one from Zeus where basic attacks will arc lightning between foes. And coupled with the bow, that becomes very useful. Oh, I love when I got it from Zeus, when I still had the starting weapon. You just like blast through guys because it has like that extra like power to it. Yeah. So, yeah. It's a really good game. Really good voice acting, good story. But like I said, the story is like the one thing I'm not a huge fan of, but I just don't want to have to run make 15 runs to hear Zeus or Hades' next dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, there's always YouTube for that.
Yeah, but doing these, you have to like do it to progress the story. I mean, I guess you could just die 15 times quickly in a row.
Oh, so you have to die,
or not
15,
either die or complete a run. But a run takes 20 minutes, so.
Well, like complete a run to a certain point, or like complete a run of the whole game.
Whole game.
Oh wow, okay.
I mean, once you really know what you're doing, you can kind of blast through that game in like 5-minute chunks.
Oh, okay.
Or like because like there's one of the you haven't got it yet, but one of the things you get later on is like this big difficulty scaler thing where it makes you can like select to make the game harder and you get more rewards. And like one of them is like complete the game in 9 minutes, and it's like what? Like I can't do that. Like that's insane. And then, that's like the easiest one too. I think there's like ones that are shorter. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. Like,
oh, so it doesn't. So it starts you at that same place every time, right? And then you just have to go.
Yeah, you have to
further and further.
Move ass. Yeah. One of the options. We haven't got them yet, but the other weapons. One's a trident or like a spear. It's really really cool. Because it really pushes enemies back, and like you can upgrade the range on it to make it like insane. So like enemies will never be able to like touch you unless they're like super big. There's a shield which I never really used that much for like attacking, and you can also like throw it like Captain America.
Oh, nice.
There's I think 2 other weapons. One's a gun, but it requires bullets. You have to keep like reloading it, which is kind of weird, And I forget the last one. I forget what it is, but it's something like. I think it's like gloves, like boxing gloves or something like that.
Well, so how do you know when you've like rolled the credits when you've finally gotten Hades to say everything he's gonna say? Or?
Well, when you defeat Hades.
Oh, okay. But so like defeat Hades, you have to go through 1 million runs, or? I
mean, pretty much, yeah. Because you'll also be upgrading your character in your bedroom. I don't know if you unlocked it yet. I mean, if you're only like 3 or 4 runs in, I doubt it, but. You pick up these purple orbs or purple energy, and like you can get like upgrades, permanent upgrades from that, which is good.
Oh, okay, that's what those are for.
Yeah,
what's the purple energy for? Okay.
When you're back in your bedroom, you might have to like build it, I think. But like if you go to your like room, the mirror in the room, that's where you spend that stuff at.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
And there's also like I think you have to build it also, but there's like a contract system. Where, like, if you get all the favors from Zeus, you get, like, a bunch of rewards from it. Or, like, if you defeat a boss, you can get a reward, stuff like that.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Or, like, there's, like, a reward for, like, meeting every god. And some of them are hidden, so.
Yeah, I will say, like, it's cool how they do, like, every god is interesting, their own look, everything.
They all have a good personality, or it's all fairly in line with, like, Greek.
What you would expect.
Yeah, like the one. I think Dionysus is like a big. Like he sounds like a surfer dude.
Yeah, like totally don't give a shit about nothing because I'm the god of wine. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so definitely, can see why it's one of those big games people like. Well, I'll keep chugging away at it. Speaking of chugging away at things, Yakuza Like a Dragon is like that for me. I'm in chapter 5, and God, it starts to get where they just keep adding and adding and adding stuff on that you can do on the side. So I'm just like, oh, I've cleared all the side stories. Oh no, here's another thing that just gives you more shit to do. I mean, not that I'm complaining, because obviously you need more things to do to like level up and stuff like that, because the one thing that kind of is not great that I'm noticing is, I mean, yes, when you go to certain areas, the enemies do level, but a lot of the places where you're at constantly, they don't level around you. They are still the same. So you're constantly like, okay, I'm at like level 18 now. And yes, when I had to go further up, around Yokohama, those enemies get harder, but then when I'm going back down to where I used to be or where the story's still at, like, they're at like level 9 and 10, so I'm not gaining as much experience as I would.
So here, that's an interesting game game problem. Because when I played Odyssey when it first came out, it didn't have level scaling. So, like, the initial area was, like, level 1 to 5. The area next to it was, like, 5 to 10, et cetera, et cetera. Jens played Odyssey, like, a few months ago, and they patched in level scaling. So, like, every area he could do, but every area was on, like, equal footing, if not maybe, like, a tad too hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, that, I can understand why you might do that, but that kind of kills progression in the game. Or, forward momentum. Because it's like, well, I can't go back to old areas because there's no real point. But I still feel under-leveled for some of this, like, higher level stuff I should be at, but I just can't do it.
Right.
And he's getting quests like level 12, it's like, oh, here's a level 46 quest. It's like, I can't do that. Like,
Right,
why?
yeah, no. So,
I mean, I can understand, they should have, like, levels of level scaling. Like, if you want to have none, do that. If you want to have some, do that. Or if you want to have be total, do that,
Definitely, I can see that as well. I mean, they do, it's just like, because the enemies respawn after, like, I don't know, like a minute or so, they show up again.
Right.
So you're going to be seeing a lot of the same group of guys constantly. So that's one thing you kind of just have to ignore and just be like, well, I'm doing this to... And then also, like, their purview of vision is extremely long. So you have to be, like, on the other side of the street so they don't see you. It's like, if not, it's like, oh, well, gotta get in this battle now. I mean, the battle system's fun, so it doesn't bother me. It's just, there's times where I'm just like, okay, I want to get through this and I don't want to have to go through this battle. But it's just funny when I'm, like, one-shotting dudes that are, like, level 10.
Yeah.
With everybody, basically.
Isn't that fun, though?
Yeah, it is. It is fun. But it's still like that whole, like, oh, I'm grinding and I'm not doing a whole lot here. And I just got to the part where, basically right where I stopped yesterday, I could finally change my job. So now I have to go through and figure out, like, what jobs I want my characters to have and stuff.
Become a breakdancer and it's a team of breakdancers.
Yeah, you can. You can become a breakdancer. Ichiban can become a breakdancer. So.
Oh, that's one of the things I should mention, because talking about job systems. So, Valhalla basically has a sphere grid, or it has like skill tree, like a skill tree system, where it's a lot of like different nodes, but a lot of it's like, plus 2 to attack, or, plus 50 health, stupid crap like that. But every so often there'll be like a middle node where it's like, oh, here's an actual upgrade, or like an actual ability. Kind of like the sphere grid. I mean,
yeah.
But the difference is in Final Fantasy X, you can see all of it.
Right,
exactly. It's this big fucking board game looking thing. You can plot out the course of what you want to take. It's like, oh, if I want to have haste, I have to go down this path and go around, and I'll eventually get it. This Valhalla, the grid is, or the map is all hidden by shadows. And it's like, once you get to the next node next to it, it will unlock like the whole, the section of map.
Yeah.
But it's like, why would you do that? Like, you can respec at any time. You can just get your points back and put them back in for free. But it's like, why not just let me see what I'm going for the first, from the get-go, so I can plan ahead, so I don't have to keep respecking.
Dragon Quest does that too, where it only lets you go so far, and then you have to eventually just be like, oh well, I have to wait till I unlock the next thing to figure out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I was looking at a map last night of Valhalla's skill map, because it's like, I wanted to figure out how I can get this one skill to break my falls easier. And it's like, oh, it's in the stealth section or stealth part, and it's like, great, I've barely explored that one, so I have to dump a bunch of points into it to get to the thing I need now.
Yep, that's true too. I mean, so that's gonna be fun, trying to figure out the jobs, because you don't get to, it's very much like old school JRPG, you'll keep job ranking, because you have a level rank and you have a job rank, and eventually, you'll get your job rank up high enough, and then a new attack will show up. You don't really get to know, it doesn't really tell you, it just says job rank up, and then the next time you go into your attacks, oh, there's another attack I can do now. And so,
I hope you don't lose progress in the job if you switch, because that would be a real bummer.
No, I don't think you do. I think you just, Well, I'll see. I'll see what happens when you switch over. I think you just get to learn like the job-specific moves, but we'll see. I'm hoping it's not that. I'm assuming with all the JRPGs that Sega and Atlas have made together between them, that they have not put that in.
It'd be nice if the job level just stayed the same. Like if you become a breakdancer level that up to 4, then you become like a sushi chef, like for a while, then you go back to breakdancers to level 4.
Yeah, there is a lot of jobs, so we'll see. And then like you also have to, sometimes you have to level up in other jobs in order to unlock other ones. So
yeah,
looks like it can get pretty deep. I got to the karaoke. So that was fun. And all 4 of your characters can do karaoke. Is it as good as old Yakuza games? It feels like it's a little easier. Okay. Was it just, like, so I only did it a little bit in 0. I haven't done it in the other games, so I don't know. But, like, it's just pressing the face buttons in this one. Yeah. Yep. Okay. It's basically pressing X and circle, I think. Yeah, this one's actually all 4 of the face buttons. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, it is all 4. Yeah. And then it does holds and rapid presses and stuff like that. Yeah. And I mean, it's probably the same game, honestly. And I love to have videos in the background of these things too, and your party like cheers you on. If you do well. So that's fun. I did the Dragon Kart racing, which is their Mario Kart thing yesterday too. That was fun. I love the fact that one of the weapons is like a rocket launcher. You shoot it, some of them, and so like it's like a wrestler, a luchador, a sumo wrestler, and then some like waitress that are like your main rivals, and they have backstories for all of them and stuff. It's like, this is crazy. So it's like, one of the ultimate weapons should just be a blue shell, but no spikes to be legally different from Nintendo. But yeah, exactly. Let's see what else so like, and then the other thing that I was talking about that takes up, there's a like part-time hero thing to go on with the hero theme of the whole game. This guy in a mask shows up and then tells you that now you have these jobs you can do where you actually go rescue people that are on the street, and like basically you're their hero. Yeah, Yakuza 6 had a very similar mechanic where you have like cell phone calls to like help out someone or people. Yeah, well, this one you don't get calls; you just have icons that show up on the map with the symbol, and then you go. And the thing that sucks is like some of those, I go over there and it's just somebody that's there for you to report to them. It's not like to report that you finished one. And I'm just like, it'd be nice if you differentiated that a little bit, because like sometimes you're going really far, and I'm doing all this on foot. I'm not taking the taxi. And to go all the way up to where some of those are and then find out that it's just a reporting thing is kind of like, womp womp. Like, you know, like, oh, come on. And, but aside from that, like, those are fun. And then they have, like, other ones that you just unlock by doing stuff, right? Like, so you just, I walked 4 kilometers the entire time that I've been running around playing, and you unlock, stuff and get achievements and all that. So, I think that's a neat system that they have in there. And then I also found the blacksmith, which, it's interesting how they decided to do that. And yeah, so it has a crafting system too. And it's, there's a lot in that game. And I'm just at chapter 5. So we'll see how crazier it gets the more you get into it. There's like every other Yakuza and Judgment game out there. Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, that's one thing I'll say. If you don't have a launch game to buy and you buy this one, much like Valhalla, you will have plenty of stuff to do. For a while. But this one eventually ends and Valhalla never will. That's true, though. This one will eventually end, hopefully. I mean, that's pretty much what I've been playing. I did make another run at Bright Memory just to see if there was anything different, because it's only like a 30-minute game. So I said, why the hell not? And no, I mean, I knew how to do more stuff, so that's always a plus. But it still feels like, man, there was such good game there. Just all these technical problems hold it back a lot, which kind of sucks. Hopefully they fix that in whenever Bright Memory Infinite comes out or whatnot. Yeah. But let's get on to the news here. And there's a lot of PlayStation stuff. So we'll just be in that section for a little bit. Last of Us, the TV show, got picked up by HBO for a full series order. So there's already it's gonna get a whole season. Neil Druckmann's gonna be executive producing. And of course, we talked about before, the executive producer and co-writer of Chernobyl, which is one of HBO's biggest series. Craig Mazin is involved here in writing and other things. So there is a lot of hope for Last of Us. I think doing a series is probably the best move instead of doing the movie. Whereas I think Uncharted is built to be more of a movie thing.
Well, I mean, no offense to Uncharted, but it's a simpler story. So.
Well, yeah, Last of Us is a lot. Like, I think it's built you can go deeper into that world with a TV show. Are you excited? Are you going to watch it? Or?
I'll give it a shot. It's funny because I forget the movie, but there was some very similar Last of Us looking movie that came out like a few years ago. I think it was a British film that kind of bombed. But yeah, assuming I'll be curious about the cast. Depending on who they get.
Yeah, to do Joe and Ellie, and we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited that it's happening and that a big studio like HBO is doing it. And the nice thing about HBO is, it'll get done, not like the thing with Halo and Showtime where you don't know where the hell that is.
I mean, they're still working on it. I mean, we just talked about they replaced the one actress with.
Yeah. I know, but I feel like I feel like we might get more information about what Last of Us is doing and seeing some stuff from it as opposed to Halo that's been in development how long,
Yeah.
And nothing. So, I don't know. I have a lot more faith in when HBO picks up something, at least it's getting done and stuff's happening with it.
Yeah, typically.
PlayStation also, not unexpectedly at all, did well in Japan. Shifting as more than 6 times as many Xbox X and Series X and Series S units. Now, something that's different compared to, I think, in previous generations, Xbox Series X and S did sell out. So, that's a plus for Microsoft. They sold that out in 6 days as well. The 20,534 units between X and S. Sony sold 118,000 in 4 days, with only 14,000 of them or so being the digital edition. So that again goes to show that both Series S and the digital edition, Sony purposely made less of them, so that, obviously they're still wanting you to buy the ones with discs because it makes retailers happy and they cost more, so they make more money back, as well. Miles Morales was the highest selling game with 18,640 physical copies sold, and Demon's Souls is right there with it, 18,607. So, and there's not really a whole lot of stuff on Microsoft's games, most of their games are digital, in Japan, so.
Yeah, the movie I was thinking of a few minutes ago is called The Girl with All the Gifts, and it came out in 2016. And it's very similar to The Last of Us, including like a fungus taking over people. that turns them into zombies.
Well, this will be better made, I hope.
That movie wasn't bad, but yeah.
Also, Shadow Complex now works on PS5, thanks to a patch. So I know you like Shadow Complex, so.
And Jens hates it.
Yeah. He's like, I'll never get why Mark likes this game.
It was good. No, it's cool. Like, I assume Hitman Go also got a patch. I don't know why that's like one of the other ones that doesn't work. But like, the other crap on that list, I don't expect to ever work because no one cares. Like Hitman Go and Shadow Complex have at least a small following. Yeah, or some fans, but I don't even think you can buy Afro Samurai 2 anymore. Or
no, you can't.
So it's like, the 3 people who have it on their consoles, like I guess they're SOL, but
yeah, I mean.
Also, that was an Unreal Engine game, so of course, it should work, and it should have worked on a PS5 from the get-go. Yeah,
it doesn't surprise me, but it's good. It's good that people are making a big point to make sure they work. will Ubisoft make sure that Syndicate works? And what is it, the other games? We'll see.
Oh, the Assassin's Creed, like, side-scrollers. It's like, I doubt it.
Maybe Syndicate, because people do like that game.
Yeah, but I can't see, like, we gotta get Star Trek Bridge Crew working. It's like, no.
Yeah, I don't see that. That won't be a big mover for them to be like, yeah, let's get that going.
Yeah.
Probably the big news that wasn't anything, because all we got was Jim Ryan saying that he promises that he has news to come at some point about PlayStation doing something to combat Game Pass, which is, one of the big deals, big things that Microsoft is using, especially this, they've already done it last generation, but it's really helped them. One of the major reasons they can really sell that Series S is because you don't have to buy any games at launch. You can just pay your $15 and pop in. There's Game Pass with everything Microsoft makes, and then, of course, other games that are on there. And, that's what leads me to wonder. I mean, Mark, like, you're not a big person about using these services like I am, but what do you think that Sony could do to compete or make this a viable thing that, Sony's version of Game Pass?
Having a lot of their back catalog, having PSP and Vita games. I don't think they're going to do PS5.
No, I'll tell you right now, the one thing they will not do is you will not see Sony games day and date. You won't. No. That's not going to happen. I don't think they would even do like the Ubisoft, with that Ubisoft thing.
Right.
Where you pay, what is it? Like $20 or?
Yeah, it's all these things are the same goddamn price. Yeah.
Well, it's $20, but you can play like Valhalla on it, right? And Watch Dogs?
I doubt it.
I thought you could. I thought you could pay a certain amount of money a month and you could actually play them on there.
Maybe.
But that's going straight to Ubisoft. They're not having to, pay anyone or whatever.
Yeah.
What's that service called anyway? Like Ubisoft's, let me see. What's it called? Subscription service. Uplay Plus?
Probably. Yeah, Ubisoft Plus. Or yeah, Uplay Plus, or whatever. All these stupid names.
Okay, so Ubisoft Plus is integrated into Stadia and Luna. And, okay, so on the PC side, if you pay the $15, you get access to over 100 Ubisoft titles, which will soon include Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legion, and Immortals Phoenix Rising. But I think this is only with Luna or Stadia. It's not on the consoles. You can't pay,
Yeah,
you can't circumvent, and Ubisoft Plus does not exist on Xbox and PlayStation where you can just pay $15 1 month and play these games. You have to be using Amazon Luna or Stadia. So I guess that's the kinks of it.
Yep.
Is you have to be using one of the one of those streaming things.
And only one, I actually got into that Luna one, but it was like, I was in like the beta test and they're like, oh, you gotta pay to enter the beta. And I'm like, alright, this is where we part ways. Like,
yeah, I never got, they promised me, some kind of email and then I never got anything, so.
It was like, I think it was like pay $8 for 7 days or something like weird like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm cool.
That's not worth it. It's like $1 a day, basically. Nope.
Well, it was like, it was the beta, and I'm like, I'm helping you guys out, fucking, by testing this shit. Like, why should
you gotta find some desperate people that don't have consoles to play things on.
Yeah, good computers, or forget to that.
Yeah, there's no need for that. So, I think, number one, I think what they should do is offer an option like Game Pass Ultimate, where you combine PS Plus and PS Now. I think that's one way you could really do it. You could offer, whether you want to charge more than what Microsoft charges, which they legitimately could, because they have way more games. They have like 800 games on there compared to, 150 to 200 that Game Pass might have.
Yeah.
So, and you're also getting the ability to stream PS3 to PS1 games. Which I think maybe they need to reconsider that and allow a download option for those. Because right now you can download anything from Game Pass to your system. So you don't have to stream unless you're using your phone, which that's, another thing. But, like, I think start that way. I mean, they already have PS Now on PC, right? Didn't they have or some of that went to PC?
I don't think so. Or no, it is somewhat, but it's like some weird hack together thing, I think.
Yeah, it's not like the whole it's not like the whole PS Now where you
right.
Like it's almost like Game Pass where there's some games that are on there and then some games that are only on the console, and
I think like Bloodborne or Dark.
I think it's like PS4 stuff is on PC. It's not the older stuff. So I think that's the number one thing. I think what you said as well, like the PS Vita and PSP games offering that might bring in a sliver of people. So,
well, here's the thing: is you're never going to get every game from the old library. I mean, that's just going to be impossible.
No, you're not. No.
But as far as first party and second party Sony stuff, absolutely. And talk to the big developers and see, or publishers and developers, and see what they want, if they will allow their old games to be accessed.
Yeah, see, that's the thing too. Is I don't see Sony paying people a bunch of money to have their games on the service that Microsoft does.
Right.
I just don't see them doing that. Number one, I don't think they have the want to, because they don't need to. And then they also, don't really have the cash to be spilling on all these companies. I could see them doing it once in a while, maybe you go after a big AAA game and say, okay, it's on our service, or something like that, third party, but I just don't, they're not, for number one, it's not really that profitable for Microsoft right now. So
right.
What does Sony's the number one thing with Sony is they didn't want to do cross-site because they were scared that it would make people not want to buy the game on their system and all that stuff. They're the number one thing they look at is we're not going to sit here and take a huge loss on everything, and they're definitely not going to be getting themselves into a service that's going to cost them an arm and a leg. I think for one is, like you said, adding all that stuff, making it, putting it together with PS Plus and PS Now, might make people use it more, which that's the thing too, is PS Now feels like it's never really, advertised. It's a thing that's there, and if you know about it, cool. If you don't, then you just don't know about it, right? You don't know that it exists. And I would love, number one, I think that, also doing the quality of life thing of letting people have access to it on their PC, letting people have access to it, with remote play or on the phone. Giving more people ways to play your games would not be bad. I think what Microsoft does is great. I love the fact that if my job gets slow, I can slap my phone onto the clip, turn the controller on, and I can play any game that I have on my console. And I'll tell you what, with the Series X, that remote play is fantastic. I don't have any lag, anything. On the Xbox One, I did a little bit. But on the Series X, it's buttery smooth. So, I will say that's pretty great. And then, there's also you can just use the xCloud too if you don't want to download stuff on your system. So I would like to see, they were the originators of remote play. It's funny that they did not add, Vita capabilities with the PS5.
Well, because they don't care about the Vita anymore, so.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, you can do it with your PS4 on another TV, but you can't do it with the portable thing. But also they don't make pitas anymore, so I guess there's no point in doing that. But I don't know. I feel like the two things that you would really think that would really make a dent with Microsoft are the two things that I just can't see them doing. They're not going to put their games on day and date. We might see them do it 6 months from now, but they're going to do it far enough in a way where you're not going to get people go, oh, I'm going to wait till it shows up on Game Pass.
Well, it's just like Horizon Zero Dawn and the PC version. How long did that take?
Yeah, you'll get that sometimes with PS Plus, but I think even Sony started realizing oh, we can't just put our big games on PS Plus after so many months, because then people just wait.
Yeah.
So we have to make them wait a long time. And by then, they might have already picked it up on a sale or something because they didn't want to wait anymore. You know? So, I think it's two different strategies. And also, Jim Ryan could just be blowing smoke. They could just not do anything. Like, I was listening to the, Greg Miller talk about it on Kind of Funny. I don't think he's too far off when he says, that it could just be used as a trump card that they can pull out whenever they feel like it. And they may just never reveal it at all unless they get, like, creamed by Microsoft, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well,
like, I just don't, like, Sony doesn't need that. People are very willing to pay the $500 for this console and then buy every game that they want to buy.
Yeah.
Like, Game Pass is cool, and I also think that Game Pass is awesome, and I love the fact that, all these great games come to Game Pass, but it also does have a bad connotation sometimes when people are just like, well, I don't want to buy this because it'll come to Game Pass eventually. And I don't know if that's something as a developer or publisher you really want people to hear, because although you do get a lot of sales from people eventually like liking the game and they buy it on Game Pass when it gets to that point where it's going to leave, you also get a lot of people that go, okay, well, I had my fill and I'm done and I'm not going to touch this again.
Yep.
And they never bought it except for the $15 a month that they paid. So I don't know. That's that catch-22 with Game Pass. There's always, I guess, a negative about it, obviously. And you still, to be fair, since Game Pass has existed, Microsoft really hasn't had this, like, standout game that you say you have to have either. Right? Like, Gears 5 is great in its own right, but I wouldn't say it's a
the Gears
game of the year.
It definitely lost its luster over the past few years.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Gears 5, since Game Pass has been around, Gears 5 was supposed to be that big game, right? And I don't think it lived up to, all that hype, and then, Gears Tactics is what it is. We'll see whenever Halo comes out if it does wind up being the standout title that you're telling people to go buy Game Pass for, but...
That game is, like, such a weird disaster at the moment. It's so odd.
Yeah, I think they really do have to go back to the drawing board and just say, you know what, cut out Xbox One. This is going to be a showcase for the Series X and S, and that's what that is. And
or they should just go, hey, Bungie, can we just pay you to make this game?
I hope not. Like, don't kill 343. But I don't know. I mean, anything else that you can really think of? I mean, like, other than, like, offering extra deals for having whatever it's going to be called.
Because, that's what PS Plus also has. So, or, kind of meant to. I don't know.
Well, they do have PS Plus exclusive sales sometimes.
Or maybe not selling it, and this might tick people off, but basically not selling old games, but basically selling it like a licensed emulator for your old discs.
I don't think they would do that. That goes into some really bad, like you just said. I think you're just gonna get into the evil ire of.
It could be an option. Just throwing it out there.
You're paying a license to use your disc that didn't work before, but all of a sudden work now.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's been known to happen.
I don't know. That seems like a really slippery slope to go down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes Jim Ryan just really gives you bad Don Matrick vibes.
Remember
the way he says things.
This is about video stuff. Remember DivX discs?
I know what DivX is. I don't remember them having discs. But
DivX is a codec, but DivX discs, they were supposed to be I think they were DVDs, but they were like weird rental DVDs where you bought a disc or you rented it. You basically bought a disc for like $1 from a store and it had a movie on it, and you had to have a special DivX player to play this thing on. And once you open the disc, it came in like an airtight envelope or something. Once you open the disc, you had a day to run it, because after that, the disc would stop working.
Oh, it's like when you rent a movie now from Amazon or whatever, where
exactly, yeah.
Once you start playing it, you have 2 days to watch it or you lose it.
But this thing was like literally a physical disc that fell apart after like a day or two.
Wow. Thank God we moved away from that, but
yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. There's ways Sony could go about it. But I just don't see them doing the thing that Microsoft does, where every week you see games show up on it that are from third parties.
But again, they don't need to.
Well, but I know, but okay, so that's what I'm saying though. like the whole reason of that library, right, is it's made by the fact that new old games show up on it every week. And then you also get like a smattering of indies that are new or relatively new. And then, you'll get like, you'll get the big AAA game that came out, 3 or 4 months ago or, later or even later than that, they go straight into Game Pass and you get to play it without having to pay the whole price for it or whatever. Could Sony do that instead of putting it on PS Plus? Yeah.
No. I mean, it could, but no.
I mean, that's the thing, too, that they have to think about is, like, would they just build up PS Plus? Would they just start putting, make it like where...
I mean, they should have done that already, but it didn't.
Yeah, but like, okay, so they introduced the PS Plus collection. Would you eventually put Spider-Man on there and some other games that aren't on there yet?
4 years on the line, sure, but not now, or not within the first 2 years, I would say, at least.
Well, I mean, I feel like every year, like as an anniversary of the PS5, you could put in some games on there. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. It has to be continuous. It has to be something that's happening at least once a month, or I think people are not going to, it's not going to be worth it to them. And that's why I feel like their best option is really to just bundle PS Now and PS Plus together. And just give you one low price, maybe $20 a month. You don't have to do as much as Xbox and make it $15. But okay, you're getting online play, you're getting PS Now, you're getting all the stuff that's on PS Now. You can now download all your games instead of just having to stream. It'll eventually include PS Vita, PSP games or whatever. Or, I mean, I don't know. But we'll see. Again, like we talked about, Sony doesn't need to do that, though.
Yep.
So they could really just say that this exists, but we're not going to implement it unless Xbox really shows that this is doing something to make people buy the Xboxes. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You can let us know what you think on that as well. And some small Xbox stuff. Doom Eternal is gonna still show up on Switch. It's just only digital only. So maybe it'll be another one of those cloud versions. 'Cause, apparently somebody found out that Doom Eternal, the physical version, was canceled. And then all of a sudden now it's gonna be digital only, that it's still coming out. For those people that have pre-ordered it, you'll either get reimbursed or you'll still get it.
Yep. I mean, I imagine it's probably a problem of cart size or, game size.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to spend the money on that big, expensive Switch cart. So they're like, all right, it's going to be digital. Like,
yeah.
Kind of download the 70 gigabyte game, feel free.
I'm still waiting to see if we're going to get more cloud games in the future for the Switch.
Yeah.
I think also it depends on, will Nintendo eventually pull the trigger on that Pro edition, or are they going to wait another year for this, or what are they going to do? Because they're going to have a lot of big games come out next year, you think? At least Breath of the Wild 2. And will they need a Switch Pro for that? We'll see. They do like to introduce Zelda games to bring out their new systems. They've done it twice now. Will they do it a third time? We'll see. The Calamity thing, Age of Calamity, is their big game right now for the rest of the holiday season.
Not exactly banner Christmas for the Switch, but people don't care.
They have so many other games. If you don't have a Switch by now, there's so many other games you could buy for it right now. So you don't need this like banner game for it. And in a somewhat of a, I guess, surprise, the New Day have shown up on Gears 5.
Yeah. And they showed up tonight on their, I think, Survivor Series.
With the armor on?
Yeah, full costumes and everything. Which is funny because didn't they just split up like a month ago?
No, they split them up on the shows or whatever.
That's what I meant, yeah. I know Big E, I think, stayed on SmackDown and, or Xavier and the
Kofi,
other one.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. They went to went to Raw or something, but yeah, it's like, what? Like, way to go brand split, I guess.
Yeah, you can unlock it with Game Pass Ultimate Perks for free and from now until December 4th. So keep playing stuff on Game Pass, or you can buy it on Microsoft and Steam for $20. Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have like 700 lines of battle chatter and whatever, but they're only multiplayer characters. So if you don't play Gears multiplayer, that may not be of interest to you, but still, that's cool. I mean, they added Batista in before, and now you get Uday.
What's the next WWE wrestler that's going to be in this game?
I'm waiting for Roman Reigns.
I'm waiting for Gangrel.
It's not happening. Stop it,
or
Gangrel.
Or the Godfather, one of the two.
Godfather is way more likely, but sure. So Tetris is getting a movie at Apple. It has nothing to do with the game itself. It's more about the creation of the game and how it's been licensed around the world. Hank Rogers is going to star as Taron Egerton is going to play Hank Rogers, who's the guy that, of course, if you don't know, designed Tetris and, secured the rights of Tetris on consoles. So that's cool for Apple that they're getting that. John S. Baird's directing it. Yeah, I'm always down for the video game movie happening.
Sure.
You like Tetris, so...
I mean, the weird part about this is it's not about Alexei Patentinov, I think that's his name, the Russian dude who made Tetris. It's like,
right.
Oh, this is the guy who brought Tetris to America. It's like, that's somewhat of a less interesting story.
Seems like such an Apple thing. We're not going to make it about the actual game. We're going to make it about this.
Yeah. Because, like, the Tetris guy, or Tetris is, like, made, in, like, basically, like, a Russian DoD lab, or like, Russian defense lab, like, or computer, like, maybe not even defense, but, like, some Russian computer lab.
Yeah.
And, like, it wasn't, Soviet Academy of Sciences, I'm looking at it right now. And it was made by Alexei Patentinov and, like, the other guy for, like, just to kill time, or, just to have something else to, like, work on. It's like, that's way more interesting than, hey, this is the guy that brought it over to America. It's like, he saw what it was. It's like,
they gotta put that American tinge on it,
Yeah.
That's dumb, but whatever, Still cool that it is in development. And probably the most surprising thing is, first of all, I know there's a Capcom hack. I don't really like talking about hacks, honestly.
Yeah.
That was really unfortunate that happened to Capcom first. And second of all, a lot of that stuff is like, we don't even really know if that's really what that is, or if that's going to come out during those time periods, and a lot of that stuff's going to get changed anyway. So,
Rip.
And also you got a lot of workers that had their personal information taken. So it's not cool, people.
Right.
Like, unnecessary. Yep. So IO Interactive actually got the license to the Bond, the Bond Nibby license to make games. Which of course they're the ones that make Hitman. So now I really want to see what they could do with this. That's pretty awesome. I mean,
do you think, what do you think they'll do? Do you think they'll follow the movies or just make a bunch of
No,
I think
levels? They've already said it's going to be wholly original, at least the first one.
Okay.
So, will they eventually add stuff in the movies maybe? If it gains an audience, sure. I mean, cause that's like, they could just add DLC with stuff in the movies. I mean, if people would eat it up. But, I mean, as somebody that was named after Sean Connery, rest in peace, my dad was a huge Bond guy. I enjoyed the Bond movies, somewhat, of course.
I've only seen the later ones, so.
I grew up with, what's his name?
Daltrey?
No, Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But GoldenEye since that,
Yeah, basically, that's the ones that I grew up with. So
the funny thing is, he made 4, and only one of them's good.
It's true. It's a lot of them that were not good.
So, do you think they'll get? Because I know after this Bond movie, Daniel Craig has said he's going to leave. But do you think he'll do the voice, or do you think they'll get whatever new Bond they get? They'll have him do it.
That's the thing, though, right? This is like original. Are they going to use any of the Bond from the movie, or are they going to just it's its own thing and it has nothing to do with the movies at all, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're saying this is a whole original story, so why would you even bother with using whoever that Bond's going to be?
I don't know if you know him. Do you know who the actor Dan Stevens is? He was in Legion, and he's done some movies.
Okay, well, I mean, I watched some of Legion, so I know him.
Okay, yeah, he was the main character. He was, Andrew, or whatever his name was in that show. David, there you go. He did a Casino Royale audiobook of the first Bond story, and, like, he was good. It'd be cool if they got him.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if they could do something like that. I mean, I don't know how much IO spent on this license and what it includes, and, you know, do they have free access to whoever Bond is to...
I hope, because I never really liked the shooting in IO games. I hope the shooting is better in this one than the past few games.
Well, I mean, I think you definitely have to improve it, but it also kind of goes right up their alley, right? Like, Bond isn't somebody that just goes in guns blazing and...
Well, he is now.
Well, yeah, but traditionally he is much more of a, like, covert...
He's meant to be a stealthy character.
So it goes in with what they're used to doing, so it'll be interesting.
They'll just attach a toupee to the Agent 47 model, and that'll be fun.
And they'll put in some villains from the Bond.
Yeah, cover up the barcode and have shrink one model's size down to half and have them be Odd Job.
Exactly, that's what we're doing. Yeah, I mean, they still got a lot to figure out when if they're working on it now, when is it gonna come out? They're still working on, Hitman 3, so...
It's nice that, because Square, it's nice that they are thriving, because I know when Square got rid of them, people were worried about them as a company.
Yeah. And what do you think? I mean, it's not really, it's a very small rumor at this point, but it got picked up by some major sites. It's not totally a thing, I think, yet. Square thinking about selling off their Western.
Basically Eidos.
Yeah, basically Eidos and I guess Crystal Dynamics, right?
I think Eidos bought Crystal Dynamics, or whatever. But yeah, I could see it because Square's always been a weird pick for that stuff because they have extremely unrealistic sales expectations. That crap. Yeah,
but it would be basically Tomb Raider and Just Cause. Yeah, because they already let go of Hitman. So and then what? Deus Ex.
Deus Ex, yeah.
Deus Ex, yeah.
That one last one didn't do well. Hey man, what about Gex? They own that.
I guess that too. Do they even remember that they own that?
Yeah. Well, I remember this was years ago. They were talking about. I think Giant Bomb was talking about Gex and about how they should do a Final Fantasy Gex game where it should just be Gex traveling to all these different Final Fantasy worlds and just making fun of them. Basically be like
I'm surprised that after Geico got popular with the Gecko, they didn't try to do something.
Yeah. I could see, I don't know who'd buy it, maybe Ubisoft or, Capcom.
Well, that's what they were saying, it would be to Ubisoft.
Yeah.
That'd be total, imagine them doing, Tomb Raider or Just Cause in that formula, just never ending.
The funny thing about Tomb Raider would be that's the game where you could be they introduce you can play as a male option.
Okay, we got everybody pissed off.
Ubisoft could do it. I could see Rockstar 2K doing it, or picking them up, or Take-Two.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's the only two I could really see. I don't really see Activision or EA getting involved.
No. It's a bummer because, I think, Square has done a decent job at those games. Most of them aren't, terrible, except the last.
And I should note this is coming off Avengers not doing well.
Yeah. And that's probably the biggest albatross, but it's of course, I could have told them from day one it wasn't going to do well. Why'd you dump $200 million in this fucking project?
Well, yeah, and then also make it a service game.
Yeah.
And then, they try to do too much with it, I feel like. It's it's a good idea. You're gonna hang the Marvel people that really love this by a thread and be like, okay, well, buy this and buy this and buy this if you want to do this and this and this. And it's but the game wasn't good. So there's no...
I know they're announcing that Kate Bishop DLC that's releasing soon. And they showed a trailer and it's okay, the character looks fine, you are still just shooting a bunch of faceless robots with their arrows. Like, who cares? Like,
I mean, that's the problem with Marvel movies in general. Until you get to the main villain, that's a lot of what that is. So.
Yeah, but at least in some of the Marvel movies, you face up against humans.
Yeah, true.
They could do it, but I would see that as a loss to the net company. I mean, the problem is like just, you know, they expect like Tomb Raider, they expect to Shadow the Tomb Raider to like sell the most copies, and it's like it's the third in the series, you know, the trilogy. Like what third in a trilogy sells the most?
Well, I mean, it's not just. I mean, well, Witcher 3, I think it's an anomaly, but
yeah, I mean, there are some, but I mean, yeah, it's like, well, the Witcher games when they had a long time.
Well, Witcher is more like Grand Theft Auto, like. That was the breakout games. That's why those sold more.
Well, it's like there are 5 years between Witcher games. It's not like 1 year between 2 years between Tomb Raider games. Like, yeah. And also they gotta. I mean, if they want to like, cut costs, they have to rein in some Final Fantasy stuff. Like that's the bigger issue.
Well, I think it's like Square might have just realized like let's stick with what we know and not try to do.
But
I mean. It's also you're having these Western developers, and it's like you're not doing well with them. So what's the point of having them around if what does well for you is all your Japanese stuff,
right?
You know, and maybe to let them focus more on bringing some of their old series back that they don't do a lot with.
Yeah, like another Fear Effect game,
or you know, have another Vagrant story or something. That'd be nice.
No, see that's the problem. I don't see them bringing back any of their old like Japanese franchises. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love the Vagrant Story of Parasite Eve, but not going to happen. They're only focused on Final Fantasy, and it's like
Dragon Quest.
Yeah, but I mean, Dragon Quest is big over there, not that big over here.
Oh, it's sold very well. This one, so I mean, it's just getting ported to the Xbox.
Compared to a Final Fantasy game, did it sell well?
I mean, that's unfair, but I'm just saying, like, it sold really well for a Dragon Quest game, and for the fact that they didn't make a big deal about. I mean, they putting the Dragon Quest games were coming out on the 3DS for God's sakes.
Yeah,
like you know, until Dragon Quest 11. So, and that's what they said was if Dragon Quest 11 does not sell well, we are not going to be making a big deal of putting these on consoles here and all that. So now that it did sell well, you know, if a Dragon Quest 12 or whatever, they could do even more. So it's just
it is kind of a bummer, but you know, if another company can actually take a crack at it, I would say sure. Or you know, another conglomerate.
This is not a lot of them out there.
maybe that THQ Group can buy them up.
Yeah, Embracer Group. Maybe Embracer Group will really go after them and make themselves even bigger than they already are because, hell, they bought 11 more studios. Thank you, Marc, for the wonderful segue. And the biggest one of them is a Flying Wild Hog that made Shadow Warrior 2 and 3. Shadow Warrior 3 is being published by Devolver Digital, and some of these are like, okay, so they got the publishing arm Sandbox Strategies, which, okay, cool. You got a Q&A company, Quantic Labs. You got Purple Lamp Studios, who made the SquarePants Bikini Bottom Rehydrated that came out. The Nimble Giant Entertainment, which made Hellbound. The Zen Studios that made the Operencia game and the pinball games. So, and some of these mobile studios, I mean, they're not anything like, oh my god, like go nuts that they bought them. But I guess it's smaller studios they can get to make things. I don't know.
Well, of these 11 studios, the only one I knew was Zen Studios, and that's because of their pinball effects stuff and Zen Pinball.
Right.
That's it. I did a review. They bought 34 Big Things, and they made a Redout. I didn't like that game, so
yeah.
It's like, all right, sure. But I know people like Shadow Warrior 2, and Shadow Warrior 3 looks fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, Shadow Warrior, Shadow Warrior 2 is a good game. I'm excited for Shadow Warrior 3, but yeah, we'll see. Embracer Group just keeps adding studios. It's amazing.
Yeah, but the weird thing is they aren't really pumping out a ton of games.
I mean, yeah, they did come out with like Kingdoms of Amalur Remaster, and I feel like that thing just dumped and no one talked about it.
I got like a few reviews, but that's about it. Yeah,
and also like it just wasn't good. I mean, like, it was fine.
Yeah,
it's like the graphics weren't what you would expect it to look like.
Yeah, I mean, I always think of them as the Darksiders people, but I was like, Darksiders 3 was not good. Like,
yeah.
But I think they make Remnant also, which is cool.
Yep, true. It's also true. They make Remnant. So keep chugging along there, Bracer Group. That's what you do. Keep buying studios and do your thing. Sadly, USGamer had to be shut down, which really sucks. It's one of my favorite websites to go to. I didn't go for them for news. But they had some terrific articles. They did really good reviews. Kat Bailey and Nadia Oxford are still going to be doing it, but they do the Axe of the Blood God podcast, which is their like RPG podcast, and they basically review like every single major RPG that comes out, and they also like go take trips back in time and discuss RPGs on all the old systems that have come out. I mean, they're all cut up now, but like it sucks. And then they've Eric Van Allen had to go too, and oh man, I can't remember the one that another one of their big guys that he announced he was going to PC Gamer before they even had any idea about that there was going to be this Max Exodus because it was going to be taken down. And I can't think of his name now.
Yeah,
but yeah, it sucks, man. I hate seeing sites that have a following, but are also on this smaller end get taken out like this because it takes away like the variety that you can have in Games Press.
Yeah. See, I don't think I ever went to their site. But the more worrying thing to me is like the company that owns them also owns Rock Paper Shotgun and Rock Paper Shotgun and Digital Foundry.
And GameIndustry.biz as well.
Yeah.
Which they're important for like the business side of games.
Yeah. So if those sites start losing people or, just get shut down, that's an issue because people use those sites.
Yeah. I mean, Digital Foundry is huge. Yeah. I mean, every time you have a gameplay comparison, it comes out of Digital Foundry. Everybody says, I'm waiting for Digital Foundry.
I mean, they're probably the one site that could stay afloat or stay, kind of spin off, or if they want to go indie, that they could probably do it. And maybe Rock Paper Shotgun, because they were indie as well for a while, or that's how they started. But I doubt GameIndustry.biz.
Yeah, but GameIndustry.biz is very important too. So it's like, those three sites, but it's not a great thing when one of them goes down and it was like, it's one of our favorite ones, and they had some terrific writers there. Katie McCarthy as well, like was really good. I mean, they're still around until the end of the year, basically. But in January, their jobs have basically become redundant, which was the official statement.
That old chestnut.
Yeah, it's not great. I hate it. I hate seeing that. It made me sad. It's like one of those places that you like wish you could. If you're aspiring like games writer, you're wishing that you could write for a place like that. Yeah. And actually get paid and work remotely too. You're not having to like go to an office and like that's the thing that like IGN shows that they're hiring, right? But you have to move to California. It's like, oh well, yeah, everybody can just do that, So I mean, to be fair, that's where a lot of the video games stuff is. But you have to wonder if, like, Kotaku and Vice and all these places, if all those other ones, would last. We saw what happened with GameSpot when they got the sale happened.
Yeah.
So
I think Kotaku will stick around, but I've heard, Vice isn't doing great, I don't think, anymore. Or, I don't think they ever really did good, but they still had writers at the time that were, I think Patrick is still there, and maybe Austin is. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Austin and Patrick are still there, yeah. And they added Gina from Kotaku.
Yeah, but they're not, I don't think they'll ever be huge, or they're not who I tend to think of when it comes to like,
but they also like kind of go off the beaten path. Like that's the whole point. It's very much like USGamer. They have their own like freedom to write what they want. They write reviews that, how they want to write them. Very much like Kotaku got a lot of crap for the PS5 review that mentions maybe you shouldn't release a PS5 during a pandemic, and everybody got mad.
I mean, there's good and bad things to that point of view, I guess, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, right? I mean, like, you could say that people really need a break, right? Like, need something else to think about.
Yeah.
And
I was at a GameStop picking something up, though, and there was some mom in there asking about PS5s, and I had to really keep myself from just laughing at her.
What'd she say?
She was like, "Oh, do you have any PS5s available, or can I pre-order one?" And the guy was just like, "No, we don't do that. Just order online, please."
Yeah. Oh, I mean
I don't
you should have just said, "Hey, there's not going to be any in stores until January." They said.
I mean, she was like a probably 45-year-old mom. It's like, I don't fault her. She doesn't know games or anything. But yeah, it's like, forget it. Like,
yeah, you're not going to see one in stores, and I think even though Microsoft didn't come out and say it that way, they're not really going to do it either.
Yeah.
So you just have to kind of, and that's what sucks about these 45-year-old moms and these, older dads that maybe aren't computer savvy. Like, that post that I still am getting likes for on Twitter that I responded to.
Yeah.
After thinking about it, like, that's I think what those moms are feeling, then those parents are feeling, is they're getting mad at the people, the supposed adults that are buying these systems and being like they're for their kids. Well, yeah, because you're having to compete with those same adults, and you're having to learn how it really is when you have to compete with everybody else online, including the bots, and realize that it's not easy. You can't just walk in a store and buy the stuff. So, I'm still looking, hoping one day that it won't be at a freaking BJ's or something I don't have a membership to. Like the ones I keep seeing are like Costco and BJ's, stuff like that.
Hey man, you missed out on Kohl's.
Or Kohl's, yeah. I didn't even know that was.
I mean, I didn't know Kohl's
either.
I didn't know Kohl's sold electronics, but I remember when Sears did, or
yes,
Sears used to at least. I mean,
yeah, I remember. So, I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting what happens on. We're getting close to the actual Black Friday, but all these sales are on right now. So,
want to know the funny thing?
Yeah,
there is still a Sears in my town that's open.
Yeah, no, mine are shut down.
Oh yeah, like it's like the only Sears left in Michigan apparently.
Well, didn't you have a Kmart that was also still open in your?
No, that had just closed. But it was like 2 months before. It was very recent, compared to your Kmart or every other Kmart in existence.
Did you pick up anything on the sales that are happening right now?
I picked up some Blu-rays. I may pick up.
Nothing on the game sales?
No, the two I'm thinking about picking up, well, I mean, I got that 13 Sentinels game from Jens, but the two I'm thinking about picking up is possibly Spider-Man or a Game Boy Flash cart.
That is two different things there. So you're talking about Miles Morales?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll see on that one, because it's not really on sale. That's the issue.
It's not. I mean, it just came out, too, so I wouldn't expect it to be on sale. I wouldn't expect any of the launch stuff to be on sale. I mean, you can pick up a cool bundle of, like, if you really love Assassin's Creed and you haven't played the other two,
well, I think,
you can get it pay $80 and get basically Valhalla for the $60, and then you get Origins and Odyssey for $10 each.
Well, I think now you can actually get Legion for like $30 at Best Buy with a $10 coupon.
There's $40, I think, digital, and you can get places have it for $30 or $35 physical. Yeah. You can get Aegis Rim physical for $30. I paid the $41 to get it digitally.
Yep, right.
Because I didn't want the disc. Yeah. But I did get Control Ultimate Edition, which right now you can only play Control the regular version because the Ultimate Edition got delayed till next year. But
yeah, but that's at least coming.
It still looks good on Series X.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of it so far. I'm wondering if I want to spend I am seeing that Soccer Wars on sale. I might go after that.
I mean, there's a lot of good Switch sales, but I already have most of that crap. So it's like,
yeah, that's the thing too.
Kind of
is
a bummer.
I'm like, I've got Hades and I don't want to really buy. I don't know that I want. I mean, like Luigi's Mansion is cool and all, and some of that stuff, but it's like I don't really want to buy a lot of that old Switch stuff because I know it'll just sit there and I probably won't play it.
I mean, if it was digital, I would, because Fire Emblem Three Houses is like $30.
Yeah.
But that's for the physical one. I already have that. If it was digital, I would buy it in a second. Because then I would just, go out, sell my digital copy, or sell my physical copy. No problem. But they don't do that, so it's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I have a carrying case where I could put all those digital cards.
But it's just, just the principle of the matter. Like, I just like to have Fire Emblem always in my console, or, always at the ready. Because it's one of those games that deserves it. Even
though I'm at the point with my 200 gigabyte like memory that I'm constantly having to, when I install something, I'm having to delete something else.
Thankfully, I'm not that bad yet, but yeah.
I mean, thankfully, a lot of the games that come to the Switch are not huge.
Yeah.
So, but I did run into the problem with the PS4. I forgot that I had a lot of stuff installed, and I was trying to get a night to install Aegis-Rim, and I was like, oh, it's full. I gotta go delete stuff. Forget it. I wasted everybody's time. We could have started the show like 20 minutes before. But yeah, well, those sales are going on. Some of them end a lot quicker than you think, so you may want to get on that.
The one I would have bought, but it's not out yet, is Yakuza Like a Dragon, but it's not the PS5 version isn't out, so...
Oh, but it'll upgrade. Oh, but the save doesn't transfer, is what they said.
I don't care about that. It's more, I just want, I like to own one because the only copy that was available was the PS4 one, and I would have
it's not on sale either, I think, right?
No, Target had it on sale as part of a buy two get one free.
Deal. Okay.
That was last week. No, this week is movies, and I think it's actually games also, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that a lot of these. Like Squadrons is like $16. I mean. You have some really good games that are on sale. So, I think
Resident Evil 3 is like 20.
Oh yeah, Resident Evil 3 is 20. Ghost of Tsushima is 30 physical. 40 digital. So, like the Switch stuff is Yoshi's Got the World, which is decent, Luigi's Mansion, New Super Mario Bros. U, Link's Awakening, it's all 40, Splatoon 2, Mario Tennis Aces, Mario Maker 2. Some good stuff there.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 is $30. And you can't, go too wrong with that. It's one of the games of the year. If you, the Yakuza Remastered thing is 30.
Yeah.
As well. It's ridiculous. The Kingdom Hearts all-in-one thing, which is like so many games in one, $20, which also includes 3, I think. Yeah, if you don't own any of the KH games, that's definitely a way to do it.
Yep.
I would go down. Watch Dogs is 37 here at GameStop.
Yeah, but the Best Buy deal is better. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Best Buy deal is better for sure. So. Get on it, people. Get on it if you've been saving and waiting for that Black Friday. Do it.
Yeah, and I have been.
But alright, and they have a buy 3, get 1 free for pre-owned. Well, not everything, certain pre-owned.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I think that's gonna do it for us this week. Until next time, which will probably be the regular day of Friday night, Saturday morning. I don't know. It'll be after Turkey Day.
Yeah,
Happy birthday to myself, because my birthday will have passed. I'll be 34 by the time we do the show next time. And we'll see everybody later.
Later.